I was just going to ignore this alien update here because it's so outrageous that it actually is insulting that people believe it. Because if you look beyond the headline for just 2 sentences, you only need 2 sentences worth of work, you will realize that this is the most stupid, dumb fanfic that has been written since Tumblr was popular about giants who built pyramids on Mars. This has gained some traction because a CIA document was declassified that talked about this experiment. If you can even call it an experiment, it feels more like everyone at the CIA headquarters was on PCP and just journaling their experience. It's about as much of an experiment as me putting my finger in my butt and seeing if it smells bad. Their method for reaching this conclusion, if you can even call it that, that's a loosey-goosey usage of the word conclusion, was they induced an altered state of consciousness through sound frequencies that split a person's spirit from their body, and they astral projected them 1,000,000 years before humanity onto Mars, where they claim they saw giants building pyramids. That is the actual intelligence gathering method the CIA used to crack the mystery of Mars. It's about as reliable as me saying I had a dream about giants building pyramids on Mars, thus it must be true. Like, whoever came up with this was watching way too much Doctor Who at the time. So it was stated in one of the CIA projects, Stargate, in the report, Exploration of Mars, May 22nd, 1984. Literally 1984, holy shit. However, the sensational data was obtained in extremely dubious ways, according to British Daily Mail. By the way, the Daily Mail is like the main source that all of this comes from. I can't believe Daily Mail has made such a fucking comeback as a tabloid. It's unbelievable. But anyway, so what happened is, the agency recruited people who claimed to have psychic abilities. Well, that sounds trustworthy. People claiming to be psychics. Surely nobody lied about their psychic abilities. They fucking recruited Mob Psycho out here. Then they included binaural rhythms, simultaneous listening to sounds at different frequencies, and semi-synchronized audio to induce altered state of consciousness, separate the spirit from body, and send it traveling through the astral. It's a fucking anime plot. Like, this is something you'd see from, like, a garbage tier anime of just mumbo jumbo. But this is something the CIA apparently actually did. And according to one of the psychic subjects, they got sent to Mars 1,000,000 years before our era and found out Mars had pyramids similar to the Egyptian ones, but then the giants had to look for a new place to live because their environment was spoiled. Well, that settles it. I always knew that that's what was going on with Mars. And thankfully now we have irrefutable proof. Because one guy said so. He said he went 1,000,000 years before our era. Let's just play with that for a minute. How would you know that? Let's say he actually did somehow fucking astral project because he listened to Led Zeppelin backwards or whatever the CIA was pumping through those headphones. And he goes 1,000,000 years back to the past, like Samurai Jack here, on Mars. How would he know he's 1,000,000 years before humanity? How would he know that? Did they have a calendar on Mars that he was able to check? Then he could put it against the start of humanity and check like, oh, well, the upcoming patch notes for humanity aren't for 1,000,000 more years. Oh my god, I'm 1,000,000 years before humanity. Like, how in the world would he have possibly had any available information to deduce that he is 1,000,000 years before humanity on Mars? Like, how would he even know he's on Mars? It could be any other planet in the fucking universe. Was there like a welcome to Mars sign that he entered like through the fucking pearly gates or something? Like, how anyone could have actually conducted this experiment and thought there was any valuable information from it is beyond me. It makes me so mad, actually. Like, at this point, people will just believe anything at all. Not to go off on too big of a tangent, but it somehow flat earth always comes up because I think it's just the shining example of people just wanting to believe something because they want to, and no matter what you do, you can't convince them otherwise. No matter how many times flat earthers prove themselves wrong, they still just wipe their ass with it and don't care. There was just another one done called The Final Experiment, where a bunch of flat earthers were talking about how there could be no 24-hour sun because the earth is flat and it doesn't fit into that model. Well, The Final Experiment brought those flat earthers out, and they, with their own fucking peepers, confirmed that, yep, there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And then instead of just accepting that and being like, I guess we were wrong about flat earth, some of them were saying like, well, doesn't mean that we're wrong about flat earth. Now we just need to figure out how a 24-hour sun works with a flat earth model. So no matter how many times you have overwhelming evidence to suggest something is wrong or can't be true, people will still just believe in it because. And what do you do about that? Nothing. You can do nothing about that. And to tie that into the giant pyramid building Martians, there are people that are now running with this and saying, like, finally, the CIA has confirmed what we always knew to be true about alien life and Mars and pyramids. And if you just look at how that data, if you can call it data, was collected, you should be able to realize that it's a load of hooey. It's fucking baloney. Project Stargate was meant to be a weapon against the Soviet Union that aimed to basically create psychers from Warhammer 40k. I'm sure all of you know by now some of the torturous experiments the CIA performed on people. I also imagine the psychics that signed up for this program were probably also treated like shit by the CIA just because the CIA has a history of doing some absolutely inhumane tests on people. So I think there's a chance that the psychics in here also had that kind of mistreatment, which is a terrible thing. Project Stargate was shut down in 1995, and then leading up to its closure was Mars Exploration, May 22nd, 1984, which is a document that was declassified in 2017, but only recently resurfaced. And it kind of goes over the entire kit and caboodle of how they even came to this Mars giant theory. Basically, it boils down to a bit of an interview where the subject is just saying things. He's just kind of talking about some stuff that he's imagining. So, like, the administrator asks him to focus his attention on 40.89 degrees north and 9.55 degrees west. And the subject responds, sort of looks like, kind of got an oblique view of a pyramid, or pyramid form. And this kind of dialogue goes back and forth for a while and concludes with the subject saying that the people there are looking for a way to survive, but they just can't because their environment is full of corruption. The subject claims to have even spoken with one of the people who told them that the group had left in what looks like the inside of a larger boat. Maybe some kind of ark, perchance, drawing inspiration from the Bible on Mars maybe, who knows? Also, how would one of the people have spoken to the person that astral projected there? You're telling me that the ancient giant Martians saw a fucking Force ghost pop in there like Obi-Wan Kenobi and they just started like trauma dumping to the astral projection? Really? Like, hey, far be it from me to question the wisdom of the Martians, I suppose. The administrator keeps pressing the subject to go further until eventually, bringing him back to 1984. And that's where all of this comes from. That is the declassified CIA document about life on Mars that some people are now taking as the gospel. That this has confirmed alien life on Mars at one point. It's just sad. Please, just do yourself a favor. Read it, and then actually just like marinate on it for a second and ask yourself, is this a reliable way of gathering data? Does this really prove alien life on Mars? Because if the answer to that question is yes, you need to take a hard look in the mirror. Like, it's crazy. What if I told you there's life on Pluto right now? You can't really prove me wrong, per se. You haven't been there yourself. But why would you just blindly take that at face value? Like, I have no real evidence to prove there's life on Pluto. Neither did the CIA experiment here. So why believe in it? Why not wait until there's some actual substantiated evidence about these kind of things? There's no reason to marry yourself to this kind of belief based on an absolute nothing burger. You don't have to do that. You can just say like, oh, that was an interesting read, but I'm not convinced yet. I'll wait. But it's food for thought. Nothing wrong with that. I just don't understand how people just like fucking cannonball into the deep end here for these kind of things. Read past the headline. Like, just read past the headline on that. And I really think it should have been obvious that this is not real. So anyway, that's the most recent alien update. That's about it. See ya. I have been glued to the coverage of the California fires. It is hard to imagine what that must be like. My heart goes out to anyone affected by it. I'm wishing you the absolute best. It looks like footage of a doomsday.
Here is a satellite picture of the Eaton fire just this morning. It shows nearly every building in western Altadena on fire. In the Palisades, the destruction It's immeasurable. The fire there has destroyed at least 1,000 structures so far.
I have been reading and watching so much about these fires over the last 4 hours now, just trying to get to the bottom of how did it start and how do you stop it, because it is just out of control and it seems like people are powerless against it to try and halt the spread of it. It's affecting so many thousands of families and animals. It's unbelievable. And unfortunately, the answer to both those questions, how did it start, how do you stop it, is a resounding don't know. It's almost impossible to track exactly where all this began because it could have been absolutely anything. It's so dry and so windy in California. Windy doesn't even begin to cover just how strong the winds are. I read a couple articles saying that wind speeds were getting up to 80 miles per hour. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's like an apocalyptic amount of wind. That's like something you'd read in Homer's The Odyssey when one of the gods gets angry. So that combination of dry and windy, anything could have started this. It could have been Harold and his family in their backyard on Tuesday were making s'mores, and one of the embers just got, picked up and brought on an adventure by the wind, leading to a small fire starting, and that small fire immediately just blossoms into something like this. Now, it's multiple fires that have been happening throughout California. It's not just one, which is what makes it even worse. Fires keep breaking out and keep spreading all over the fucking place. And there's so many factors at play for making this even more difficult to combat than it already is with these conditions. So I read a lot of reports about there just not being enough water for them to fight it, as well as the winds being too high for any kind of aerial attempts. Even though there have been aerial attempts, you can see some of the footage, like one of the planes that dropped water. It was getting fucking ragdolled by the wind. Luckily, the plane didn't crash or anything, but after it dropped the water, the wind was blowing it around like it was an NVIDIA physics demonstration. It was unbelievable. I was also reading reports of budget cuts that may have had an impact on the fire department's ability to control a fire like this. I was also reading there's just not enough firefighters in the area to fight against something of this scale. So there's just so many different things at play. And I am showing a lot of self-restraint right now, not ranting and raving about insurance companies as well. I'll briefly mention it though, I'm sure a lot of you saw this. State Farm and, some insurance providers, they decided, you know what? Don't really need fire insurance. So a lot of homeowners that are losing their homes right now, a lot of families that are losing their homes, no longer have any kind of fire coverage because the insurance just, they didn't think they needed it anymore. So I was reading a lot about how State Farm in particular canceled a lot of fire insurance. So there's a lot to say about that. I'll bite my tongue on it. I've ranted about insurance a lot over the last couple of years. But anyway, the big question is, how do you fight against it? And right now the answer is you don't. The best they can do is try and save animals. I noticed a lot of effort being made to get pets out of houses that some families left behind, as well as horses that got left behind, and trying their best to save property. But it doesn't seem like there's any viable way for them to stop the spread of the fire at this moment because of just how absurd the wind conditions are, and also just not having enough tools at their disposal for it, like with water and everything. And that's just really scary. They have come out and said the best thing they can do is just wait for it to run out of fuel. That's really about it at the moment. It's a horrifying set of circumstances out there. It's absolutely tragic. Now, of course, with anything of this scale, there's going to be some very brain-dead takes about the whole thing. There's no real point into diving into some of those, but I'm seeing some unhinged shit, why aren't the residents of Bikini Bottom coming up from the ocean to start spritzing salt water on the fires to help us out? And how can there be fire when there's ocean right next to it? The big thing I'll briefly talk on this one because I see this a lot. Why aren't they just using the salt water to put out the fire? There's an unlimited amount right next to them. Well, you don't really want to be salting the earth. That's not ideal, but at least salt water is better than no water. And I actually read from the California fire captain that the actual acquisition of that water, getting it, transporting it, making some kind of holding pool for it, and then making some kind of way for it to use in their pumps so it can draw from the holding pool to their pumps is just very difficult, and also the weather conditions make it extremely difficult to get a fixed wing aircraft out there to super scoop the water because the wind is blowing so hard. That could also just be deadly if they tried to get any kind of aircraft out there to super scoop the water. So the big thing for not using the salt water right now is that it's just really hard for them to even get to use against the fire if they wanted to, which is why they're using, water from lakes and reservoirs and all of that. But I have seen that a lot. It's actually like a SpongeBob solution. Why don't we take the ocean and move it over there on top of the fire a little bit? And it's not that easy. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, no, I've been seeing the videos of the fires out in California. It is horrifying. Here, hold on. I saw this video earlier today. So most people were ordered to evacuate, and I imagine most people did. There's a video of some people that didn't.
This was going viral to all over the place. Look at this video.
This actually looks like something out of Doom. Like Doom Eternal or something. Like when the portal to hell opens.
This was a guy who didn't heed the warning, stayed behind.
I've seen
and
this.
Look at what happened here. I mean, to be surrounded by flames in all direction with your dog there. So this is not what you want to have happen. So as... That
is insightful. Listen, folks. This is not what you want to have happen. You don't want flames blazing, this inferno surrounding you. You're not looking at a good time. I'm just going to say it. Hey, call me a jerk all you want. You don't really want that.
If he was able to post the video, I hope he ended up being okay. I hope he was able to get out, but
from what I recall, he did.
An exact update on what exactly happened.
Yeah, the footage that's been coming out from this is it's hard to believe that it's not a movie. It's truly nuts.
Obviously, this is our local story, but
it's like something out of a Roland Emmerich film.
News anchors coming here today. I mean, this is.
What's even more fucked up is apparently a lot of people were denied fire insurance by companies like State Farm shortly before the wildfires happened. No, what? What? Insurance did that? I must have misread that. That can't be right. That doesn't make sense. No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. Don't make me go on insurance now. Now I'm fucking stun locked on insurance. You remember, I think I talked about this on stream. So, I don't remember which hurricane, but one of the hurricanes that blew through Florida a few months ago, it caused some flood damage to our warehouse. Nothing like too expensive to fix or anything. But we, of course, had flood insurance. Well, let me tell you. The insurance being the saints they are, they found a way to weasel out of any coverage for the flood damage, so it came all out of pocket. And that's the way it goes. That you pay for the insurance for the sole purpose of helping when a natural disaster happens, and their whole goal is to make sure they don't actually pay you for what you've been paying them for the entire time. It's incredible. It works that same way in health insurance. It's amazing. It's really amazing stuff. What was their reason for denying it? What was their reason for denying it? Oh, fuck, I can't remember. I think one of the big things was they didn't think the flood damage was as bad as we made it sound. And also, even if it was, it didn't do enough damage to warrant them covering any of it. It was some combination of those two excuses. Didn't only damage one part of the warehouse. No. One part of the warehouse got it worse than the other. The back building where we play for skill check videos. That one, the entire floor and everything had like 2 or 3 inches of standing water. That one definitely got it the worst and destroyed most of the things that were still on ground level there. But the main warehouse building had water damage in the walls. But not too bad, all things considered. But it still would have been nice if flood insurance was like, hey, yeah, we'll cover that. We'll help cover that. You literally pay us to cover it, so we'll do that. But they didn't do that. Because this really is just, it's unbelievable.
So this is an entire 5 to entirely. This whole street gone.
It's just actually erasing so much.
Nothing left.
And I didn't know this, but apparently the reason this is so out of control is because of how windy it's been in California. Because there's been a lot of wildfires in California. There was the big ones a few years back that took out a lot. But this seems to be like a totally different beast because the wind is unreal. How does this start? Is it just dry and wind? Literally that. There's no telling exactly what started this. It could be a fucking cigarette being flipped out by a substitute teacher that just got off of work. And then it just starts a small little fire and it's so windy that it just blows it up. It just explodes it. It could be absolutely anything. Alien drone lasers from Jersey. I am actually surprised I haven't seen more conspiracy theory takes on it. Now, granted, I haven't really been looking or anything, but I feel like that would have been one of the first things. The first fire started in someone's backyard. Imagine having a small fire end up costing thousands of houses. Where did you see that? I didn't see that. It's very possible, with how bad the wind is, that is actually what started all of this, but where did you see that info? Let me look it up. 5 football fields a minute, how a perfect storm of extreme weather set off Los Angeles wildfires. Man, holy shit. They're picking up burning debris and embers and depositing them downwind, and that's the recipe for what we've got now. There's nothing the fire crews can physically do to stop this fire. All they can do is try to get ahead of it and hope there are enough natural fire breaks in the form of rivers, open areas with little vegetation that maybe can slow it down a little bit. It's virtually uncontrollable, and they go out, typically, only when they run out of fuel. Okay, so it broke out around 10:20 a.m. Tuesday. Its exact cause remains under investigation. So I don't know where you saw that it started in someone's backyard. Didn't a fire start one time because of a gender reveal? Yes. That was 4 years ago, I want to say. A gender reveal party caused a massive raging wildfire. Yep. Like all the footage coming out, you can just see it from anywhere in California, it seems. Well, okay, not anywhere in California. You can see it from many, 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 many miles away, and the whole sky is just like this orange, smoky hellscape.
California, which is also on fire. This is the Eaton fire in the Altadena area, and for the first time, our colleague Gina Silva is giving us a look from the ground. Those are horses, Gina?
Those are horses, yes. There's a woman that just came down the road here, and she's trying
God,
to
just look at that.
But as you can see, we
What
are
the
on New York
fuck?
Drive in Altadena, and this entire hillside is on fire. It has already crossed the street, and there's a building here that is in danger of also. You can see how dangerous the situation is. These are the streets: Kinalea Canyon Road, Outpost Lane, Glen Springs, Coolidge, Miranda, Roosevelt, Vernada.
Yeah, I don't know how she's even able to report. Like, the smoke inhalation alone must be just impossible.
And these winds are absolutely dangerous.
Were there any attempts of using helicopters to collect water from the ocean to put out these fires? So I only started reading about this like an hour or so before stream. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's actually kind of dangerous to fly during this because the wind is so strong. Like, so strong, so there's not a ton of, like, aerial watering attempts. But I don't think you'd be using ocean water, by the way. I think you just mean general water. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't think you'd be wanting to use salt water. But if I remember correctly, from what I was reading, they're not doing a lot of aerial stuff because of how risky it is with the wind speed. Because the wind speed is getting, like, to 80 miles per hour. Is it mainly in the hills of California right now? So there's 4. I think it's 4. And I don't think they're all just in the hills of California, but I think the majority of it is there. CNN says there's 6. Well, it looks like there was at one point, but I think this icon means that it's like under control. I would guess, because I mean usually green is green good. This is one of those situations like with hurricanes, you'd hope we had some weapons or technology to stop it. Oh, you know, this isn't what you were trying to say, but you know what just reminded me of? You remember how all the people are saying, like, the government's got, like, the Democrats have the hurricane machines, the weather machines that they're sending hurricanes at Florida with? Where the fuck is that technology now? Why does the weather machine only happen sometimes if we have that technology? Yeah, if the weather machines are real, now would be a really good time to start a torrential downpour or something in California. TikTok being banned is a headline that floats around annually. It comes once a year like Santa Claus and spreads like the common cold, with people thinking this is really the time it's going to be banned, and then never does. However, this time around, it's a different kind of ball game. This rodeo's looking a little bit different. All signs are pointing towards TikTok being an extinct dinosaur at the end of next week. TikTok rep has even said that they're preparing for a US shutdown on Sunday, which once again proves I am terrible at predictions. Babavanga is frowning. I have been very vocal with my naysaying and bah-humbugging, saying that people are blowing this out of proportion. TikTok's not actually going to get banned. Because we've been through this song and dance so many times, I just didn't put any water into this being the one where it's really gonna just vanish. I'd just be flopping my veiny cock on people's chins about it, saying, you gotta wake up, it's not happening, and then, well, January 19th at the latest, it looks like we'll be living in a post-TikTok society. What that looks like is anyone's best guess. There could be mangled corpses in the streets, buildings on fire as former TikTok stars start cranking JoJo Siwa dances and IHOPs and posting the videos desperately to Instagram Reels. Who knows? I'll go ahead and tell you where I stand on this, and I stand pretty tall, 5'6". It's a topic that's been pretty tricky for me. I've been pretty conflicted on it. It's no secret I'm not a TikTok enthusiast. I think TikTok has been a net negative for its users, and I think there is very real data and evidence to suggest that it has had a very harmful effect on people's ability to focus. That being said, I think it has also been an invaluable tool for, small companies as well as individuals to make a career out of basically nothing. An example that I use from time to time is someone like Queso, who I think is probably one of my favorite content creators on the internet in general right now, and TikTok is what really helped elevate him and put him in the public sphere. And having a tool that's able to do something like that is just really very cool, and a lot of businesses also attribute their success to being able to promote through TikTok. So there's a lot of good that has come from it, as well as like getting information out about very important things going on in the world. So there is value there. Overall, though, I can't help but feel that on the whole, TikTok has not been a good thing. It hasn't really been a boon. It's been more of like a curse, giving people fucking TikTok brain, poisoning them. That being said, I am very much against censorship and very much in the camp that people should be able to make decisions for themselves without the government telling you what you can and cannot download on your fucking app store. I don't like Uncle Sam kicking down my door and uninstalling TikTok from my phone or whatever, even though I don't use it. There's very real concerns with TikTok as a platform. Yes, obviously it's harvesting your data. Yes, there is a actual concern with that, as well as the ability for TikTok to influence certain things and hide certain things. There are real arguments against it, but all of those arguments against TikTok are also arguments that can be used against Meta, Google, everything, because all of those platforms do the same shit. The difference with TikTok is an American company doesn't get to have that influence, and they don't get to have that that sweet, sweet data that they love to collect and sell to China. Instead, through TikTok, China just gets it off rip. And that's really, to me, the core of why the TikTok ban is going through, because they want an American company to be able to capitalize off of your data, which is business as usual for some of the big boy behemoths in the tech sector, like Meta and Google. That's a core part of the shit they do, which is spying on you and harvesting your data. It's not like a conspiracy, that's pretty well known. Just to boil it all down to where I stand, even though I don't like TikTok, I still think people should have the freedom to download it if they so choose. I just hate the idea of relinquishing freedoms like this. I just don't like giving them the green light to just take things away like that. Just micromanaging what apps you can even have access to in the first place. Like, just pick, this is an extreme example, but just picture a future like this. Oh, Charles, we see you were trying to download that unofficial notepad app on your phone. That's not owned by an American company. You need to use our pre-approved Patriot Pad. So we're going to uninstall that previous one and get you set up here. I think that shit sucks. So overall, I'm not thrilled that TikTok's going to be banned. And also, there's people that are just being a bit delusional about it, thinking that somehow this is going to heal society. All of a sudden, people's brain rot will be cured. No, goofball. They're just going to go to the numerous alternatives that are offered by American companies. like YouTube Shorts, like Instagram Reels. Well, Instagram Reels I keep hearing is a complete fucking cesspool, so maybe not Instagram Reels, but mainly YouTube Shorts. And also, apparently, tons and tons of people are going to a different Chinese TikTok clone called Red Note, which is something we talked about on stream. I'll go ahead and play some of those clips. Yeah, I'm here to find out tonight if TikTok is actually getting banned next week. We'll see. We're gonna do some big time digging. Yeah, I was just learning about this new TikTok app called Red Note. So it's a Chinese social media app that's basically just TikTok again, but this time not in English. So it's looking like tons of people are flocking to it. Yeah, the 19th is when we're gonna know for sure if it's actually banned. But they do this every year. Every year for like the last 4 years, they have this whole hoopla, time to ban TikTok. Unless TikTok gets bought out, it's banned. And then it comes time to play hardball, and it's like, that's fine. But next time it's really fucking getting it. We're putting the wood on it. I don't understand why they want to ban it because it's a Chinese company. Just, we've talked about this a lot over the years because this happens like clockwork with the whole TikTok ban fear wave that sweeps through and them posturing that they're going to do something. I don't know if TikTok's going to be bought. We can look into it. I know Elon was posturing that he's going to buy it. I know, I think it's Kevin O'Leary was saying he's going to buy it. I would be shocked if it gets bought. But we can see if there's any, like, weight behind it. Spoiler alert, there wasn't. There's no shot Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank is walking away with that handshake deal. And also the rumors of Elon Musk purchasing it were unfounded. In fact, one of the reps for TikTok said that they don't engage in that kind of fiction. So it doesn't look like it's going to get sold. Also, it doesn't seem that TikTok itself wants to even play ball with this. It seems like they're very against it. They're currently planning to just cease US operations for the platform on Sunday, saying that when people open the app, they'll see a pop-up message directing them to a website with information about the ban. And also that they're going to give users an option to download all their data so they can take a record of their personal information. However, they did say that if the ban does get reversed, it'd be able to restore service to US users in a relatively short period of time. America would not be the first to ban TikTok, with something we talked about on stream as well. India actually banned TikTok a little bit ago. Oh, wow. No, they actually banned it 4 years ago. Around the same time we were toying around with the idea. TikTok and 58 other Chinese-created apps were banned completely in India. So did something come and take its place, like fucking Hydra? Let me see. So June 2020, it was banned. Citing the threat to national security and sovereignty. So something did take its place. TikTok users and content creators needed a place to go. Ban provided a multi-billion-dollar opportunity to snatch up a big market. Within months, Google rolled out YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels. Both mimicked short-form video, and it looks like they went there. This kind of surprises me. In India, TikTok decided not to go to court, but the US is a bigger revenue market for them. Also, the First Amendment in America is fairly strong, so it's not going to be easy for the US to do this as it was in India. I'm surprised they wouldn't try and fight it in India. That's a huge market. A lot of them went to Chingari too. Never heard of that. Is that a TikTok clone? Oh my god, I hate these websites! Someone needs to buy all of these mainstream journalist websites and just burn them to the fucking ground. Jesus! I'm not gonna subscribe for $1 a month to read fucking 2 paragraphs. Is it bad? I would rather TikTok goes down so people can start doing something better for themselves than watching short videos for hours wasting time. It's super cute that you think that would change anything. People in preparation for a potential ban have already flocked to another TikTok adjacent platform called Red Note, which is just a Chinese TikTok alternative. Earth. In a time before humans and before cringe, this planet was ruled by the dinosaurs until they were evicted by an asteroid, banishing them to the Shadow Realm, never to be seen again, but giving rise to the flesh. Well, I guess dinosaurs are flesh too, but like human flesh came with acne and stuff. And now we humans live here, but who's to say that Universal Landlord might not come knocking again with another asteroid? And by who's to say, I mean, we're all saying it. Everyone knows that, like, I'm sure you've seen the headlines. There is an asteroid heading towards Earth. Right now, it is at a 1.5% chance of hitting. Earlier today, it was at like a 3% chance of hitting. A couple days ago, it was like a 2.5% chance of hitting. All of which are actually really high. Some of the highest recorded probabilities of a huge asteroid hitting this planet in a long, long time. That dirty bastard out there, I've been shaking my fist at it for the last couple hours saying, scram, get out of here. But from what I can tell, it's not working. It is big, but it's not, a planetary killer. The size that, should it actually impact Earth, it would destroy a city. So it's a city killer, which is really big. And that's pretty concerning. So I was watching and researching, trying to figure out, well, are the odds actually as high as that seems to me? Because as a RuneScape player, 3%, those are good odds, actually. Like, that's pretty fucking solid. So I was curious about these estimates. Now, again, it has gone down. It is no longer 3%. It's dropped to about a 1.5% chance that it impacts in 2032. The only thing that's known for sure is this asteroid does pose a threat of actually impacting, and should it impact, it won't be pretty.
Of the destruction we wrought on each other in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, this is 500 times more powerful than that, just because of the energy of it coming through the atmosphere, causing shock waves, and because of the heating, exploding. So it's like a grenade. A grenade is no bigger than your fist, but it can do damage over a wide area. This is a grenade that's 60 meters across.
This is astronaut Chris Hadfield briefly going over the destructive capabilities of the asteroid, and then it got me wondering, well, if the percentage continues to climb, is there anything we can do about it? Are we just hopeless sitting ducks out here waiting to get fucked? Like, what exactly do we have? Because I recall we have DART, which I remembered successfully did change the trajectory of a space rock. Like, we confirmed that it can be done, but can it be done to something on this scale? Or are we truly just like square one? Now we're going to need to figure out maybe some kind of defensive protocol, like maybe we send me out there with a cartoonishly large tennis racket to bat it away. Like, what do we have? So that led me to a YouTube channel, Scott Manley, who was talking about it.
So the name 2024 YR4, that tells us that, well, it was discovered in 2024. Y means it was discovered in the last 2 weeks of the year, and R4 means that they've discovered about 100 asteroids before that. But they get numbers and designators towards the end to tell just the order it was discovered in the year.
Yeah, the rock has a name, so you can curse it. It's not Voldemort. Go ahead and say its name. 2024 YR4. I highly recommend watching Scott's full video on this because he gives great coverage and goes over like exactly how they even get to these numbers, which I found very interesting. So he was talking about the observation as they were following this asteroid and looking at the orbits. He also does mention that there's going to be another encounter in 2028, but that one will definitely miss. This is something they can say with certainty. So 2032 is the main impact that the story is breaking on because as it climbed over 1% last month, it is increased even more as the uncertainty starts to get less and less uncertain.
I expect that what's going to happen is that we're going to see that we've seen basically the probability slowly rise over time. And this is a pattern we've seen in the past. What happens is you get a very large error section, and as it shrinks down, the Earth becomes a bigger and bigger part of that fuzzy error, or where it could arrive. But eventually, it shrinks down and the Earth is suddenly outside. So the probability goes up, 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 and then suddenly it drops to zero very quickly. That's probably what we're going to see.
That sounds wonderful. That'd be a great play from John Madden's book if we see that happen. Because right now we're at that point where it is going up and up and up, but it just recently has dropped down to 1.5% chance of hitting. So maybe we're in that stage where as the error is shrinking, the Earth is looking more and more outside of it and will hopefully drop to zero. But let's say it doesn't drop to zero. That space rock is real stubborn. It's an old battle axe up there. It said, let's get this farty sharded. And it only continues to go up. So it dropped today, but maybe it spikes back up tomorrow. We never actually leave that error. And as it becomes less and less uncertain, the percentage chance of it hitting us grows too. Well, Scott Manley talks about what our options could be in the case of an impending impact of an asteroid of this size. But before showing you our defensive options, whether we'd play a zone defense or man-to-man, I would like to show you what Scott said about the size of the asteroid, because not even that is fully known. We don't have enough data to know for certain the density or the size, so right now we're using some other factors to try and estimate.
It was unfortunately discovered too late to get any radar observations in on it, so we don't have a really good constraint on the size of the object. What we're doing is looking at the brightness and saying, based upon its estimated surface reflectivity, albedo, it could be anywhere from 40 to 90 meters across, which, that's a factor of 2, but because it's a volume, it's squared, and because we don't know the density, this object could be anywhere from, say, 25,000 tons to 1,000,000 tons of mass.
Yikes. 1,000,000 tons of anything is usually bad news. That's a recipe for disaster. I can't really think of 1,000,000 tons of anything that's positive. You know what they say? 1 ton, calm down, son. 1,000,000 ton, now I'm not having fun. My whole city's fucking dead. It's all done.
Which, if you do the math on that, it says each pound for pound, kilogram for kilogram, it would have 37 times the energy density of TNT. So that means that 27,000 minimalist low-end version is a 1 megaton blast. The big one is potentially about 40 megatons. So this is, strategic scale nuclear device yield equivalent. This is something that could absolutely devastate a very large area.
Douchebag universe shooting nuke rocks at us? Like, come on. What assholes, right? I mean, pardon my French, but the universe can be a real jerk. Space sucks. I'll say it. I'll be brave. Space sucks. You can't breathe out there in space without specialized equipment. No gravity, so you can't even get blood to your wiener and jerk off if you wanted to. Like, it sucks. There's nothing good about it. And then you can't even exist peacefully on your own little space rock without another one coming your way, fucking speeding like it's late to something and causing a ruckus.
We know based upon the timing that it would have to hit along this very narrow strip of the Earth. And this is a thin section that runs from like Central America across the Atlantic. If it lands in the ocean, that's probably not such a big deal. If it lands in a relatively uninhabited part of the world, probably not a big deal. But if it did land in a more inhabited area, well, we might want to evacuate it. That's one thing you can do. When it's something of this scale and you have 4 years of warning, it's absolutely something that you can plan. You could probably constrain it sufficiently that you could decide to make sure that no one was in that area.
Unless it's Florida. You bet your sweet bippy, if Florida was in the crosshairs here, if it was like bullseye, this asteroid is going to hit Florida, you should evacuate. I promise you, bet your bottom dollar, that sweet bippy, there would be so many Florida people that are like, hey, I don't believe it. I'm going to hunker down. I can handle hurricanes. I can absolutely handle a little fucking pebble falling from space. You know what I mean? And then you'd have that shit come and it'd look like Independence Day when the White House blew up. Like, Florida got lucky if all this data stays this way, where Florida is not within that zone, because if it was, you would not be getting them out. The only way you'd be getting people out of Florida is if you literally, like, cryogenically froze them and transported them out yourself. Shit, I'm not gonna lie to you. Born and raised in Florida, never lived anywhere else. If I saw Florida in that line, like, if they had that, like, in the sniper scope, like the asteroid was gonna hit, I'd be sitting there scratching my chinny chin chin going, could I take that, you think? Do you think my house could tank that? I mean, like, Florida houses are built for, like, Category 5 hurricanes, right? I mean, this probably isn't much stronger than that, right? Like, I'd have a debate with myself. Isn't that crazy? Like, I'd actually be thinking, what if, though? That'd be a crazy stream, right? I mean, that'd be a nuts stream, and we don't know for sure. Like, we don't know if a house can stand up to an asteroid. It's never been tested. Yeah, we've got a lot of data and a lot of common sense that says it stands no chance, but data also said I'd be 5'8". I'm 5'6". Sometimes miracles happen. You never really know, you know what I mean?
We have recently demonstrated with the DART mission that humanity now has the ability to change the orbit of asteroids. It is possible that if it was going to, say, come down over India or something where there was sufficient self-interest and money, then the orbit could be changed. And the way you change the orbit is you hit the asteroid with a spacecraft, and there's a bit of momentum transfer, and that changes the period of the orbit ever so slightly. Now, in the case of the DART mission, it was able to move Dimorphos, which was a bigger object, by the way, by about a few hundred kilometers in the last couple of years.
So there's DART that I mentioned earlier. So I am happy to hear that this would theoretically work against this asteroid should it be necessary. However, he goes on to mention that when you're changing the velocity, you're moving it along that line he already drew. So you're changing it and it'd still be within that line and it'd become a trolley problem fundamentally, as he described it, which I'm sure all of you have heard of the trolley problem before. Changing the orbit of the asteroid becomes very complicated on international levels because as Scott mentions, if it was looking to impact somewhere over India, and India then starts trying to push it east to maybe get it off of Earth, well, it's going to go over China, and they're obviously not going to be too thrilled about that, and if it doesn't fully get off Earth and impacts China, well, that's going to be a local disaster for China and also an economic disaster for the rest of the world, so it just becomes a very tricky, complicated issue. While we can change the orbit of these asteroids with DART, it becomes very difficult to assess how and where. It gets very complicated. Scott then goes on to mention that while this is the highest probability of an impact, 2032, it's not the only one. He mentions that it could miss us, narrowly miss us, and then still come back around and impact us at a later date. So Scott Manley said, and I think this is a great clip that I'd like to play you because he's 100% right, that even if this one is a miss, and even if the one after it is a miss, all of these go to zero, one day it won't.
I think we're going to find that in the next few weeks that the probability goes to zero, but one of these days it's not going to go to zero, and then humanity is really going to have to embrace the power of the DART program and change the universe around us. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.
I think he's 100% right on the money here. Now, of course, I'm just a smooth brain idiot. I'm not an actual smart person or anything, but I think he's 100% correct. There will come a time where we're not going to get lucky. It's already happened before. Earth has been hit by a fucking planetary killing asteroid. RIP to the dinosaurs out there. Pour one out for them. And I think we will need to really fully start to look at DART, improve it, and really go hog wild with it in order to protect the planet. And I like that statement of changing the universe around us, because I think it's going to get to that point at some stage. So yeah, I don't know if this asteroid's going to hit. Nobody knows right now. It's only estimates. Hopefully it doesn't. But I just wanted to talk about it because I've been kind of glued to the subject today. That's really about it. So yeah. About 10 months ago, I made a video talking about the Neo robot, which was this Jetsons level technology that was fundamentally a household chore bot. And I've always been skeptical when the claim is made that it's right around the corner, because you hear that for every piece of tech ever, and then half of it just kind of fizzles into the fucking ether, just falls into the back rooms, never to be seen again. But now, 10 months later, I got a bunch of egg on my face because the Neo robot is here. And it's affordably priced. It's a very cost-conscious $20,000 for the household chore bot. You're losing money not buying this thing. It can do so much. Kind of. To a certain extent. It does chores. Now, Marcus Brownlee just made a video kind of going over his qualms with this robot, and I think he brings up a lot of good points. Points that I also briefly mentioned when even just talking about this from a conceptual standpoint, even before the price was revealed and even before they showed its actual capabilities here with chores. It is just... I don't see a world where it makes sense to own this, even if you do just have $20,000 shoved in your fucking prison wallet. If you got $20,000 floating in your colon and you're looking to get it out, I think there are significantly better uses for it than buying the Neo robot.
So meet Neo, potentially the most futuristic product we've ever seen. This thing is a full-fledged humanoid robot, 5'6", 66 pounds, 4-hour battery life, self-charging, and it lives in your house. It's finally here.
Now, 10 months ago, the design of the robot looked fundamentally the same, and I think they do still have similar faces. Back then, The main one I saw looked like Shaka from One Piece, or it looked like fucking Dynamo from Deadlock. Now they have like those two little eyeballs and like a leather mask there. It almost kind of just looks like Jason Voorhees mask to a certain extent on this thing's face. And I think having it be 5'6" is obviously the best possible decision you can make. That is the optimal height. I think most human beings would like to spec into that if they could choose their height. Luckily, I was blessed with 5'6" naturally. I wasn't, needed to be created in a lab to achieve that. But I understand why they went with 5'6" at the very least. And the rest of the specs here sound pretty good.
It's a housekeeper. It has the same dexterity as a human because it's shaped just like a human, walks around on 2 legs, has 10 fingers. It can fold laundry and put it away for you, or it can do the dishes for you from start to finish and then put everything away. It can go around and water the plants outside or inside on a perfect schedule, and it never forgets a single plant. And then it'll go around and vacuum and tidy up the house if anything gets left out. It always knows where everything is. It can find the TV remote, and it'll basically actively do all the chores that you know you have to do, but you don't actually want to do. And when it's done, it goes back to its little docking spot and charges itself.
That fully sums up the purpose of Neo. It exists to do the chores you don't usually feel like doing for 20,000 clams. So it'll go do these things to varying degrees of success, but it will do them, and then it goes and then chains itself to your wall. It goes and plugs itself in and charges itself. That's really about all that it does. Except, of course, for those little JoJo Siwa dance moves you saw it do there for a second. Other than that, it's just focus on doing chores. Its goal is to, fucking pass the butter and fold the clothes. That's really it. Now, a lot of people talk about, this is for lazy people, like people that don't want to do chores and just want, this robotic servant to do it for them. But really the main clientele, as far as I can tell, is that it's aiming to help elderly or disabled individuals whom these kind of activities are more difficult for. But at a $20,000 price tag, that's not exactly a reasonable price to try and help there. And I imagine, as Marques Brownlee also points out towards the end of the video, that's not going to be a demographic that's really, enthusiastic about being an early adopter of this, because basically you're guinea pigging this thing. This is so new. This is such brand new technology. It's still pretty primitive here. You are beta testing it for a $20,000 buy-in. But there are, admittedly, other options that are less than $20K. Like if you want to rent it, from what I can tell, there's like monthly installments you can do. But even still, it is extremely expensive for this.
This is available to order? This feels like it could be the best tech announcement of all time in 2025. Except, this isn't real.
You know what is real though? The Starforge solo leveling collab. Starforge just dropped its PC in collaboration with Solo Leveling. It's available right now. You can click the link in the description below. There's also a big Halloween PC sale. Marques Brownlee goes on to mention that one of the main things about it not being real is how they're claiming you can order it today, making you believe that it's here and it's available now. I can go right now, get my Neo ordered, and it'll be here lickety split, and then I'm going to have my nice little household chore bot running around. I can slap him on the ass and tell him good game, keep up the good work, and then he'll, maybe give me a cool catchphrase like, I've got nipples, Greg, can you milk me, or something, then he'll go charge himself, all my chores are done. It's not here. This is a pre-order, and there are options for a $500 a month subscription or $20K to own it outright, and it's expected to deliver sometime next year, but there's no actual real delivery date that we know of at the moment, so it's not here today or anything. It's still right now just an idea that you are pre-ordering with the hope that it will be delivered when they say it is. But that's not the only thing that makes this not real.
My issue with this product is the gap between what it's actually capable of today and what they're promising as they take your money today. Like, I think when people watch a video like this, they expect that this robot has some sort of built-in artificial intelligence that allows it to recognize objects and navigate around on its own and learn your house and be productive for those hours while you're gone. And that, I think, would be a reasonable thing to get out of watching that video, because that's what it's designed to show. That's what you're supposed to feel. That's the dream.
He is exactly right. When you watch these showcases, what they're selling you on is a pipe dream. But what you're getting is the crack pipe. You watch these videos and you're under the impression that this robot has the ability to like recognize things in space and accomplish these tasks like Sonny from iRobot or something, like what you've seen in movies throughout the decades, where this is a robot in like the truest sense of the word that you picture up here in your noodle, and that this has like some kind of AI driven components that are able to somehow like, you know, figure things out for itself so it can do your chores. But that is not the reality of what is actually being done here to get the robot to accomplish these tasks.
But that's not actually what's happening. So Joanna Stern, the legend, she did a video with this Neo robot also this week where the company showed her all of the things that it could do. And turns out 100% of the things that they showed her were remotely controlled by a human in another room wearing a VR headset with controllers. That's not exaggerating. 100% of the stuff they showed her. The carrying things around, the loading up the dishwasher. I mean, look at this thing. Yeah, all of this is teleoperated. And this was a demo set up by this 1X company. So this is like best case scenario stuff.
This is very, very, very different than what most people expect from this robot. It is not doing these things itself per se. It is being teleoperated by someone wearing a headset and everything to control it themselves. So it's basically acting like an extension of their body. They're playing a VR game in your household as your butler, basically. It is not a robot in the way that you think of it. So what you're doing is you're paying $20,000 for someone to come into your house in a robot skin suit. That's basically it. And like very stiffly, like the Tin Man, walk around and very slowly go through simple chores laboriously. Like even something like loading the dishwasher is a Herculean effort here for the Neo robot, and it is being controlled by a human being in the first place. The Neo robot is just the conduit for it. It is just, I think it is very misleading for people that are just going to see this robot do things and not understand that it's not the robot itself doing them. It is a human being that is controlling it outside of that robot.
And I see a lot of people defending this robot online like, oh, no, there's probably other things that it can do autonomously. They just didn't show her yet. Really? You don't think they would show her the best stuff that this could do autonomously to keep selling the dream?
Fucking exactly. There's always crazy cope from people that are so desperate to defend like massive corporations for no reason, man. I don't get it. How do we live in an age where people are willing to fight tooth and nail, doing free PR for companies that don't give a fuck about them in the first place, don't even know they exist? They're just a piggy bank hoping to stick their dick in at some point. I don't understand where that delusion's even coming from. This is them coming out here and trying to put the best foot forward for this product, to try and sell the dream, like Marques Brownlee mentions. Why would they not show everything it can do autonomously? That makes no sense. That'd be the stupidest fucking marketing move ever. Now, he mentions that there are two things in that video that it does label as autonomously performed. One of them was opening a door for a guest, and the other was transporting a cup. Other than that, everything was teleoperated. That's so night and day from what people perceive this robot to be. It is not capable, or at least it doesn't seem like it's capable of doing the vast majority of your chores autonomously. It needs to be teleoperated to accomplish those tasks. So basically, you're paying $20,000 for real steel, like Hugh Jackman's real steel, but instead of like Hugh Jackman boxing and having the robot throw punches, it's Hugh Jackman cleaning piss off of your toilet bowl, and it's the robot mimicking it in your household. I highly recommend you watch his full video here because he does a great job breaking it down and also going through the footage from Joanna, who is the one that got all of this information and showcased what this thing can actually do. It's extremely interesting. He mentions, and he's right, that one of the big things is that it needs tons and tons of data. So the idea seems to be to push this out to early adopters so that way, while they're using it, it can be gathering all this data so it can get better at doing things autonomously. It can learn all of these variables. And in order to do that, it needs access to individuals' households of these early adopters. So they even have something called, I think it was expert mode if I remember correctly, where you opt in, you give permission to have one of their experts tap into the mainframe here of the robot and learn how to do a task by guiding the robot through it. So basically, he's digivolving into your house, like he's manifesting himself into your house, this expert, into the robot, so that way they can do the task and collect the data and get better at autonomously doing it down the line. And it seems like it boils down to early adopters that are going to spend this money to get the Neo are going to have to be okay with sacrificing some privacy for the sake of science, because down the line, maybe it'll lead to enough data that the Neo can eventually do it without the need of a teleoperator to be scheduled to take control of the robot, look through its sensors in your house, and do it. So, I mean, it is an interesting little creature here for $20K. It's a very interesting piece of technology.
5'6" humanoid that wanders around your house and does chores. Like, are there really that many people, you think, that are willing to spend that amount of money and know that they're going to have to potentially give up some pretty serious privacy and are basically going to be a beta tester for some unknown number of years to hopefully maybe someday achieve that dream? There are obviously a lot of potential downsides to this robot. You know, it's too small and weak to carry anything super heavy.
As a petite, fun-sized 5'6" man, I took great offense to him saying that right there about the robot. Too small and weak to carry anything heavy. Brother, I can carry some of the heaviest shit in Florida. I'm gonna chalk that one up to maybe he just, got a little lost in the sauce there. It has nothing to do with the robot being 5'6" or anything like that. It looks like it hasn't been hitting the gym. That's all. But he makes a very strong point here. How many people are willing to spend that kind of money and also be the guinea pigs for this technology for X amount of years? Who knows how long? Scheduling, this company's experts to take control of the robot, looking through their house to do the task to collect that data to improve it down the line, to maybe one day have it be something that's possible autonomously. I don't know. He also mentions he doesn't know. It is just a very interesting spot we find ourselves with this technology here. All I wanted to talk about here, though, is that a lot of people are really misled on what this robot is even capable of right now, because it is confusing. As he mentions in his video, what they're selling you, like the idea today, is not what it's capable of today. They're selling you the idea of what it could be many years down the line, but making it seem like it's here today, which I think is a bit scummy. In my personal perspective here, I just don't see a ton of people being comfortable paying that amount of money and just inviting all of these cameras and microphones that are remote viewable from these strangers into your household. I just imagine most people wouldn't really be comfortable with the idea of someone potentially peeping through those cameras that are remote viewable and these microphones that could be listening. Like, I imagine most people just wouldn't fully trust it. Like, around your family, like your kids and everyone around there would probably be a little on edge knowing that this robot, there is just the chance that someone is looking through it right now, even if you didn't schedule an expert to take control. Because again, these are remote viewing capable cameras and microphones, stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe there is a ton of people out there. I just would be very surprised if there were. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this because I was yapping about it 10 or so months ago, and now it's getting even closer to coming out. They're claiming that it's already here, ordered today, but it's still not actually fully here yet, but I just wanted to follow up. That's really about it. So, yeah.
I'm very convinced that Jake Barber is
That guy actually has a voice that sounds like AI. I thought I clicked on one of those AI slop channels
And it's quite clear everyone's taking his information very seriously. The big question is anybody going to do anything about it?
Yeah, we're gonna go to war with the aliens. The alien subreddit is already clowning on this. The evidence is a chicken egg. Man, you made me think this was real. What? You're telling me this guy's evidence of aliens is a chicken egg? Oh yeah, you're right. The subreddit is clowning on him in a big way. Where can I see the evidence that he submitted? Where is it? Where is just like the video itself? Wait, these are the actual photos? These aren't memes? No, that's definitely a meme. I want to see the actual evidence that he submitted. Is it? You're telling me this is it? This isn't a joke? Oh my god, you're right.
NewsNation has independently obtained
No, it looks like he's taking this very seriously. How have we gotten this stupid? The NewsNation UFO sling clip looks fine to me. It seems like classic sling load system used in underslung operations. Just thought I'd share. Brother. I'm gonna grab you by the shoulders here and shake you back to reality. I gotta wake you up from this dream you're in. That's not real footage of an egg-shaped UFO. That's footage of egg in a duct tape. Gee, man, now I sound like a fucking moron. It's a video of an egg wrapped in duct tape. Weather balloon. Why wouldn't aliens have Why wouldn't aliens have egg-shaped ships? Saiyans have ball-shaped ones. Checkmate. You're fucking right. Kakarot's in that egg. No, this is a real news story. I am just as surprised as you are. When I first looked it up at the beginning of the stream, I thought it was a joke. So I kept missing the actual video, the actual footage, because I thought it was someone just clowning on it. They are running this as if it is 100% legitimate. Here, you know what? I already got the subreddit open. Someone actually just recreated it almost one-to-one. The only difference is they didn't use duct tape. They just fucking strapped a band-aid on it. It's just an egg over carpet. That's it. And this guy didn't have, like, night vision. He just he had a green filter. No way people believe that. Pretty much nobody does. Not even this subreddit. Like, the subreddit is making fun of it in a big way. I don't think there's a single person on the planet that would see that and be like, holy shit. This is eye-opening stuff. This is the most Reddit thing I've read in a while. I just got lost in this pretentiousness. Apparently everyone has had the exact same response to the NewsNation special report, which is to post their disappointment and ridicule as to the footage that was released. The effect is to render laughable any opinion contrary to the fire hose of insults that followed the airing of this segment. But that effect is neutralized as soon as the mechanism behind it is illuminated. The driving force behind this tsunami of bad faith reactions is a coordinated ridicule campaign. It's the same tactic used by government Fife Symington following the Phoenix Lights incident. It's the same tactic used against Pulitzer Prize winner John Mack of Harvard when he dedicated his career to interviewing abductees. In the light of history, it is obvious that ridicule is the only real tool available to architects of the UFO cover-up, which has hidden the very nature of reality from taxpayers for the better part of the last century. You are free to consider the question of non-human intelligence without fear of any real and meaningful damage to your reputation or mental health. Ridicule campaigns like the one currently consuming the sub have failed, and recent polls suggest the public is keenly aware that non-human intelligence exists and has been interacting with humanity for a very long time. As the great Bobby McFerrin once said, "Don't worry, be happy." We're not alone in this existence, and that knowledge is more joyful and curious than it is fearful by a mile. Enjoy it. Updoots for you, sir. I tip my fedora, gentle sir. Reddit Platinum. Brother, it's a fucking egg. It's an egg. It's not actual footage of an alien or a UAP whistleblower. There's been so much actual credible evidence that has come out, you don't need to defend all of it now. This is hooey. It's fucking barnacles. I'm just a regular ass stay-at-home dad that follows this stuff. I have no skin in the game, and I'm certainly not working for the government. That video was cool, I guess. Man, how is it cool?
One of the clearest images.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've heard a lot of helicopters. Like, that doesn't even really sound like a helicopter. That sounds like a fucking lawnmower that they put like a stock propeller sound effect to. Nothing works here. It's a fucking egg. It's like a fishing rod and it's carpet. That's clearly carpet.
Let's freeze frame here to look at one of the clearest images of a UAP ever taken. This is no
so
blurry light in a distant sky.
You know what, I'm changing my tune. I agree with this guy. That video is cool, I guess. As I posted elsewhere, the real info wasn't the photo of the egg. It was the guy's testimony about coming into psychic contact with something and the illness suffered by himself and the other men in the crew. For some reason, that's being completely ignored by everyone in favor of just ridiculing the egg. Proof will never come in the form of photos or videos. They're too easy to fake now. Testimonials are all we have along with our own potential experiences. Yeah, you can't fake testimonials. Those are bulletproof. Did I ever tell you guys about the time I psychically connected with Ariana Grande and she gave me a lap dance in Fortnite once? You aren't being fair to the egg. We need an expert. Call your dad right now. Let me see if he's awake. I'm going to send him this egg real quick. Give me a second. It's midnight, so they might be asleep. He might believe it. Nah, there hasn't been like anything recently my dad's believed in for the alien stuff. He believes in like the actual, like, some of it's very far-fetched, but like in terms of recent evidence that comes out, he believes in like the actual like footage from, you know, the pilots, the one from the ship, that kind of stuff. Like the ones that are actually interesting and have real merit. This, I think he's just going to think I'm making fun of him. There you go, let's see the Oscar nominations. I saw Amelia Perez apparently has a nomination in every category known to mankind. They're inventing new categories just to nominate this film. And I have heard nothing but bad things about it, by the way. I have not heard a single compliment from a living, breathing soul for this movie. I don't know anything about it aside from some really cringe clips I saw from it, but I have not heard anybody who likes this movie. And yet it's been nominated for everything. Best, like everything apparently. Oh, here, look, yeah. Best Picture and Best Actress being two of them. Best Picture nom. Didn't it win Best Picture at the Golden Globe or something? Or am I misremembering? It won Best Musical? Oh, that's right. Yeah, it beat Wicked for Best Musical. I forgot. Oh my god. Back-to-back sites that I have to pay for access just to see a bullet point list of the nominations. Jesus. The state of journalism. Here we go. Finally. Best Picture, Anora. Didn't see it. Brutalist. Didn't see it. Complete Unknown. Didn't see it. Conclave. Didn't see it. Dune Part 2. Yippee! That's my best movie of the year. Amelia Perez. There it is. I think we're going to be seeing that a lot. There's going to be categories that aren't even real words that it's nominated for. Top Spagooter, Amelia Perez. Top Janitorial Staff, Amelia Perez. Apparently it's going to be everywhere. Oh, The Substance! Love that movie. Someone in chat said this is only like the 5th time that a horror film's been nominated for Best Picture. There we go, The Substance, nice. I'm gonna know 2 movies on this whole list, it seems. Yikes. Yep. No one from Dune or The Substance. Don't know any of them. Cool. I mean, I know some of the actors, like Adrian Brody or Timothy, yeah. But I haven't seen the films. Wicked, I've seen. Just didn't really like it. Oh, here's a new one. September 5th. First time we've seen that on the list, I think. Haven't seen it. The Substance, though. Here's hoping. Gladiator 2 got a nomination for costume design. No shot it beats Nosferatu, though. Nosferatu takes that easily. Holy shit, it's going to dog walk that category. Makeup and hairstyling, this should absolutely be Substance. Actually, I guess Nosferatu could take it as well. They did do an amazing job with Bill Skarsgård. This one's close. It could be either of these. If it's neither of these two, then you know something has gone truly awry. You know something has gone completely fucking cattywampus. Amelia Perez apparently beat Wicked at the Golden Globes for Best Musical, so it probably does it again here, which is crazy. Animated feature film Flow. I know it won at the Golden Globes. I want it to win here now. I love Flow. Absolutely love Flow. But I know it has its work cut out for it with Wild Robot. Cinematography. Dune 2, please. I know none of these. We're on a cold streak right now. Flow! International feature film. I know it's not beating Amelia Perez because apparently this is God's gift to Earth, judging by the way the critics respond to it. But it should be Flow. Oh, 7 horror movies have been nominated for Best Picture: Exorcist, Jaws, Silence of the Lambs, Sixth Sense, Black Swan, Get Out, and The Substance. There is 2 different songs from Amelia Perez in original song. What is this madness? I have to watch this movie. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. The clips I've seen look fucking miserable. All the reviews make it seem like the worst film ever made. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I have to see what they're smoking. I have to see what crack pipe they've got. Oh, Alien Romulus getting a nod here for visual effects. Even Better Man's here. The Turbo Flop. I might actually go see this movie. I just kind of feel bad at how bad it's doing. It's apparently a good movie too, but no one gives a fuck. It's that movie about like the monkey who he like. It's a story about like a UK musician, Robin Williams. No, what is his name? What is the UK guy's name? It's definitely not Robin Williams. Robbie Williams. I knew it wasn't the same name as Robin Williams. I knew it. It didn't sound right. But instead of just having it be like a actor playing Robbie Williams, they have it be a monkey. And his reasoning for it, like the director, well, according to Robbie Williams himself, the director asked him what his spirit animal was. He initially answered like bear, and the director said no. So then he said monkey, I guess. And he's like, yep, that's the one. So they just made him a monkey. How do you not know Robbie Williams? Brother, fucking nobody knows Robbie Williams outside of the UK. I couldn't tell you a single one of his songs. I looked him up last time we went down this rabbit hole. I know nothing of this guy. Actually, I've never seen him. I've never heard a single one of his songs on the radio. Nothing. I actually know nothing about this guy. He is only big in Europe. See, this is what everyone says too. Every time we go down this, when I bring up Better Man, like when we were talking about how poorly it did, it was apparently like $100 million budget and it's made like $3 million or something crazy like that. We were talking about it and the chat was like, oh, I thought it was Robin Williams this whole time. That is what everybody outside of EU says about this movie. It's either, who is Robbie Williams, or, oh, I thought it was Robin Williams. It was such a bafflingly stupid idea to spend that much money on this. Robbie Williams was as big as the Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls in Australia. You see, I'm going to be honest with you, I think the main reason he wasn't big here is because all of the other artists that he was competing with at the time were just so huge. Like, he was during an era of superstars here. There's no way you haven't heard his top 3 songs, 500 million views on YouTube. Brother, there are songs on YouTube that have like 600 million views that I haven't fucking heard. Plenty of them, even. Because they weren't big here. I already went down this rabbit hole. I have heard none of them. I'm not exaggerating. I haven't heard any of them. Like, maybe if I really, like, peel back into the deep recesses of my mind during the 90s, I might be able to, like, piece together a false memory where I heard it in a car while my parents were listening to 93.3 FLZ or something. But that's really stretching. But yeah, overall, these Oscars, I got no skin in the game. All I want is Dune, Flow, and Substance to do really well, and Amelia Perez to do really poorly. That feels like such a fake movie and fake hype. But I have not seen half of the shit for the Oscars this year. Not adding Transformers 1 is a war crime, we riot. Yeah, they really could have slid Transformers 1 into the animated category. It wouldn't have beaten Wild Robot or Flow, but just a little nod, because the film is great. The film is really, really good. But it did not get the tender love and care it deserved from the media. Or the public, for that matter. It was not a financial success. Oh, and No Look Back. You're right. No Look Back either. That movie was great. Yeah, I watched Look Back. I talked about that on stream. Look Back is very good. I didn't know it was from the same guy behind Chainsaw Man. I did not know he had so many heaters. He made a one-off, and it just slapped. Red One got snubbed. No Red One. What does this world come to? Do you think Jim Carrey deserves a nomination for his performance in Sonic 3? Well, it wasn't eligible. They had, like, weird criteria. Even still, though, yeah, I would love to see him nominated. Imagine Jim Carrey takes it for fucking Eggman in Sonic 3. Oh, that'd be so good. Amelia Perez nominated for Best Marvel Movie. So true. They need awards for bad movies? They have awards for bad movies. It's called the Razzies. We already went over their nominations. So Worst Picture, we already knew these were coming. Borderlands, Joker, Madam Web, Megalopolis. I never saw Reagan. But yeah, they do these. One year, I think it was Catwoman. Catwoman won a Razzie for Worst Picture. And Halle Berry actually went there to collect the award. It was very cool. It was actually very cool. The Razzie's been around for a long time. FYI, the Amelia Perez director canceled an interview with Mexican film students in fear of backlash. We really hate the movie in Mexico. Yeah, I hear Mexico really fucking hates that film. Again, I have heard not a single good thing about that movie. Nothing. The director openly said he didn't do any research on Mexican culture because he didn't feel like it. Yeah, I remember that got mentioned last time I was talking about Amelia Perez and how confused I was with why it was nominated for everything for like the Golden Globes or whatever. Netflix wanted to buy an Oscar winner. Yeah. Oscar bait is the weirdest thing to me. Like, I don't get the point. Most people don't give a fuck about Oscar bait movies at all. So it's not even like financially successful, it's just like an ego thing. And like, what's the point? If people don't even like your movie in the first place, if you're appealing to the most specific weirdo taste, it just doesn't compute. Worst director has to go to Todd Phillips. He fucked up big time with Joker 2. Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got this category on lock. The only one that can maybe come close is Francis Ford Coppola, because Megalopolis was like his passion project, like something that he'd had in the back burner as a script or an idea for like fucking 30 years or something, and then eventually just self-financed it, $100 million out of his own pocket basically, and it was a disastrous, unwatchable mess of moving pictures. So it's going to be close, but I think Todd Phillips should take it. Katsumatsu is by far the worst. Katsumatsu. Katsumatsu is a traditional Sardinian sheep milk cheese that contains live insect larvae. Oh, son of a bitch.
This cheese is not for the faint-hearted. Why? Kazumatsu is laced with maggots.
Why? It's banned in the US, I believe, so you're good. Do you know how revolting a food has to be banned in the US? We eat fucking poison. Just directly eat poison. And it's approved. You have to be on another level of deplorable to get your food banned in the US. That's crazy. Is it really? I'm looking that up right now because I just don't believe you. Fucking Sir Strumming isn't banned in the US. Yep. Kasamatsu is banned in the US and illegal in the European Union.
È forte come la gente di questa terra. Bella. Granito.
No shot. Is that real? If you don't properly chew the cheese, the larva will actually live inside your intestines and cause enteric pseudomyasitis. Enteric pseudo... How do you say that? I'm not familiar with this. Pseudomyasitis? Whatever. It's a condition that occurs when a person accidentally swallows fly larvae or eggs that are then passed into their stool. And when you look it up in like regards to the cheese, you get some articles on it too. But I want like a deeper one on it. So the larva can actually survive your stomach acid from the cheese. Made with a process that goes far beyond typical fermentation, katsumatsu is formed into a solid wheel before the top is cut off and it is left open for cheese flies to lay their eggs on the soft inside. Once infested, the cheese lid is placed back on and it matures in a dark, cool room for several months. During this time, the fly eggs will hatch and the larvae begin to consume the cheese, which takes a unique flavor and a soft, spreadable texture. So a TikToker accidentally ate it and ended up in the ER. It looks like it was on a piece of pizza. I want to know what else is banned in the US for food products. Like international food products. I know there's certain ingredients and shit that are banned, but I want to know like full-blown food products. We're going to do that right after I learn more about this goddamn devil cheese.
Non c'ha niente di pericoloso.
Hospital staff would disagree. Poop is natural too, but you wouldn't eat that. You're not gonna have poop cheese.
Who produces it and why? Then rennet is added, which provides the enzymes needed to turn milk into cheese.
The cheese making process is so interesting. We did something similar making butter once at the warehouse. But I would honestly eat our fucking Lowe's bucket butter before I'd ever touch this cheese.
This is what the pecorino looks like after maturing. But how does it become kazumarzu?
C'è una mosca proprio del formaggio, c'è un moscerino, non è una mosca tipo quella che vediamo.
It almost just sounds like a made-up creature like the Tooth Fairy. You see, this cheese is made by a small fly. You won't find it around your house. It comes in at the middle of the night, and the cheese fly comes in and it turns this beautiful block of cheese into a revolting larva-infested nightmare.
Per caso oppure in giro, era proprio una mosca del formaggio. Basta una piccola creppa che fa il formaggio, entra dentro, mette le uova e piano piano diventa kazumarzu. Ce ne accorgiamo perché ci sono i vermi dentro.
Literally, kazumarzu means spoiled cheese, which was once thrown away.
And should have stayed that way.
Delicacy.
It's not a delicacy. It's just not. What?
Già morti questi. Però per vedere se è fatto lo dobbiamo per forza aprire.
Nope, not enough maggots and shit in there. Not ready yet.
Ecco. Questo non è proprio completo, ma già vediamo, notiamo che questo è già, questo è già formaggio maggio, non è?
Oh
The
God.
maggot's hard work digesting has made the cheese
Jesus.
creamier and changed its consistency.
Allora, si mangia così, col pane carasau, si prende un po' di casu.
Don't do it.
E va spalmato così.
Don't do it.
E poi si mangia.
Good Lord, it's a maggot genocide now in his mouth. Oh boy.
Buonissimo.
Ah.
Questo
Yummy.
un gusto forte e
Scrumptious.
piccante.
Spicy.
But what's it like if you're not from Sardinia? Our reporter dared to find out.
Brother, this woman needs a raise. She just risked her whole intestines for this. She just instantly fucking dies. She collapses.
Tranquilla. Assaggia.
Don't do it, ma'am. Oh, God.
È forte, è molto, un gusto molto piccante.
Yeah, you know what else has a strong taste? If I went head first into the dumpster outside of a Piggly Wiggly and just started eating the maggots out of the bottom. But I wouldn't sell them. Like, I wouldn't call it a delicacy. I'd call that trash, is what I would call it.
Like a very, very strong one?
Yeah, because it was cheese at one point until the mythical fucking cheese fly came in and turned it to poop and maggots. So yeah, there's probably still some cheese in there, but you're mainly eating larvae.
Marzu is a must-try, if you get the chance.
You're just gonna get people killed.
Un prodotto inimitabile, perché penso che ci sia soltanto in Sardegna ed è un prodotto che chi lo vuole viene in Sardegna.
Because it's outlawed in other parts of the world. Like, the process seems so simple though. How can you stop, like, how do you stop me from making this in my toilet? Like, what do you, like, I can do this. Or do the cheese flies not exist here? Do the cheese flies only exist there? All the cheese flies in the U.S. were arrested. That's real? So the cheese flies only exist there. I'm gonna look that up right now. I'm gonna look up this goddamn cheese fly. Okay, so here's a picture of that dirty bastard. That criminal. Well, rather, I guess that artist. The gourmet. Nope. The cheese fly, or cheese skipper, is a sparkling dark fly found all throughout the world. Is it in Florida? I'll make my own I already forgot. Katsumartsu. Holy shit, I have so many tabs open. I just closed the one that I was researching the cheese fly on. God damn it. Yep, they're found in Florida. Are they found in Tampa? Can I summon one? Just like, I don't know how I'd summon one. I guess maybe with the cheese it'd float in like a cartoon character going after some apple pie. So, like, again, how do you stop Katsumartsu? Are you actually going to try to make this be for real? No, I'm just wondering, like, since it's banned here and they're saying you can only have it in Sardinia, or Sardinia, I already forgot. Is it it's probably not Sardinia, right? Sardina? Pretty sure it's Sardinia. No, it's Sardinia. He's saying, like, you can only have it there? I just don't believe that. Because it seems so easy to make. It's literal trash. Why would anyone make it, though? Same fucking reason we make Jinkum. I don't know, man. Because we can. Someone's got to. Might as well be me.